It's day 2 in Hillsboro, Wisconsin, and the Lucas Oil Pro Pulling League is bringing you more action as we kick off another round of competition. Last night, facing down a weather delay, the mini rods were unable to finish their class, so today it's their first shot at points in Hillsboro. With a beautiful sunny day, class mainstays Richard Peters, Keith Horst, and the Slaw family will have their hands full as 3 super modified teams have also rolled out mini rods. On the first day of competition, Jeff Hodem and the fully loaded machine took the lead in the class with a second place finish and is looking to continue his run at the points championship. It's day 2 of the Hillsboro Charity Pull with no rain in sight and a lineup of tough vehicles scheduled to hook. Let's get the action started.
Truck and tractor pulling, the ultimate test of power. Professional pullers compete using custom-built vehicles with thousands of horsepower to see who can pull a multi-ton weighted sled the farthest. The sled is adjusted for each class to make the competition a fair test of power and the driver's skill. There's no practice in pulling. Every decision a team makes before each pull is critical to competing for a class championship. In a long season full of highs and lows, teams dedicate hundreds of hours to maintenance, travel, and repair. This is professional pulling with the Lucas Oil Pro Pulling League.
Welcome to the Hillsboro Fireman's Park for the E3 Spark Plugs Hillsboro Charity Tractor Pull presented by Optima Batteries. This is also the Lucas Oil Pro Pulling League. Ken Stout and Leslie Mears here to call all the action for you. The mini rod tractors are in the house and the unlimited super stocks. This is a huge pull up here and growing every single year. In fact, the first year that it's become a 2-day pull.
It's very exciting also because this afternoon session has been added to the docket. So fans that head up here to the Hillsboro Charity Pull, not only going to get to see the awesome night session, but also this amazing afternoon session.
Have no mercy, Tyler Slaw. Comes here second in the points, 4 podiums on the season, including a couple of wins. Just a little bit behind the team tractor of Show No Mercy. This one called Have No Mercy, and right off the bat gets out to a great start at 3:11:56.
When he's kind of got the number for this track, came up here last year and picked up a win on day 2 with his machine right here. As you can see, just a little bit of a rocky start there as those tires are trying to settle in. It's trying to take a set out there on the track. So much horsepower, so violent in the driver's seat. As you can see the vibrations there, even though they are belted in with that 5-point safety harness.
All right, here we go with our pulling orders. We can see Tyler Slaw first out of the gate. Did have a chance to drop that if he wanted to, but I can't imagine he dropped one that surpasses 300 foot. Drake Griffith, Richard Peters, Keith Horst, Bruce Slaw down there with a Show No Mercy. That is the current points leader. Steve Boyd, yes, Steve Boyd, and the green streak inside of this one. There's some players for sure. And I got to tell you, after we watch that replay and watching that thing spin the tires at the initial hit of the throttle, I've got to imagine there's some left in them. Crash spoke with Drake Griffith earlier today.
Fans of the Hillsboro Tractor Pull definitely know the overdraft mini rod. What is it with your success here? I think you told me you've never finished lower than 4th.
It's just a good track. It's a great pull. We love coming here. It's one of our favorites. A lot of luck against some of these big tractors, but we like to say we can hold our own here.
Oh, heck yes you can. How can you really determine the bite of this track? Because it does bite so well and your mini rods are so unpredictable.
Oh, we always use a screwdriver before. We check to see how soft the track is or how hard it is, and we just adjust our tire pressure and move our weight accordingly. Whatever we got to do to make it work.
Well, keep your notes to yourself because clearly they're working.
Thank you.
And to the novice fans out there, it must sound like such a strange thing, but that's exactly what all the pullers do. They all come out here on the track before they hook, before the class goes, with a huge long screwdriver and start jamming it down into the dirt. And Griffith comes out here, goes 294 and 74 on the overdraft.
And some of those notes that Crash mentioned he would use for his set, it might be slightly different. Afternoon pulling, severely different than evening pulling with that sun going down and the moisture coming up in the track. These guys going to be battling that sunshine out there. For their sake, though, all the greater tractors out here have sprinklers on them, so they're putting a little moisture on top to try to keep the moisture in the track. He gets off to a good start, but then starts to one-wheel a little bit. These mini rods also have open rear ends, just like most of our other pulling vehicles, so those tires can load and unload independently out here and hook up differently to the track.
Some of the young fans out there enjoying the show here on a beautiful sunny day. As we take a look at the points, we talked about the show no mercy and have no mercy coming into this one as your points leaders out of the Slaw camp. And then also notice in fourth place, they just about consumed the top three. In fact, did consume the top three at the beginning of the season. However, Keith Horst is looking to break that up.
And man, they are just so dominant out here. 13 out of 21 podiums going to the Slaw camp.
Incredible, right? Richard Peters coming up next on the Buckeyes Special. And then we'll take a look at Keith Horst and that Red Fox. Good looking tractor here for sure. On those sassy engines, digging deep right there. 3:08 and 58 is the distance. Good enough to jump up into second place for now.
And just really a great placement of weight here by Peters on the Buckeye Special machine. These things only weigh 2,050 pounds. So if you move any weight at all, a mere 10 pounds, it's going to make a difference. Watch those front end, those tires up almost the entire time down the track, just dancing on top of the dirt there throughout, getting the perfect placement in those rear tires.
Good look right there to see how far back his feet are in comparison to a couple of the Slaw tractors that we'll see here before everything is said and done. It's all about weight placement. We talk about it all the time in this sport. And yeah, the kiss cam is on, man, and they're handing them out. How about that? All right, here comes Keith Horst. The Red Fox, currently third in the points. It seemed like a bit of a slow start, and a couple of hops in there could have hurt him, but nonetheless, he'll jump up into second place by a little more than 5 inches. It is that close. 309.01 to Peters' 308.58.
And it was interesting to watch that throttle hand off the line because it was slow and steady, and then all of a sudden he just mashed it and poured all that alcohol into the engine to get it revving up. It's like he felt it hook up, and it was like a now or never type thing, and couldn't apply it slowly, just had to give it all she got it all at once.
So that'll get the category started. Tyler Slaw, your current leader, but as you can see, they're already stacking in there pretty tight. Should be a good one here with the mini rods. We'll be right back.
The Lucas Oil Pro Pulling League is brought to you by Geico, saving people money on more than just car insurance. General Tire, anywhere is possible. And by Optima Batteries, the ultimate power source.
And once again, we welcome you back here to the E3 Spark Plugs Hillsboro Charity Pull presented by Optima Batteries. Grandstands filling in here for the mini rod tractors. And here comes your points leader, Bruce Slaw on the Show No Mercy. We talked about foot placement before and how you can see the clutch can. The driver was sitting way back. Well, look at where his feet are. Midway up on the engine. And he goes charging down through there. We have a brand new leader, 3:18 and 76. That's how you get it done.
And just amazing how much power these guys put out of their machines. You know, when they talk about Show No Mercy, they're talking about those engine parts as well, because they aren't afraid to come out here, put a big tune-up on machine, and really lay it on the line right off the start. And you know that Tyler is telling him about track conditions because they can't really transfer any data between the machines because we talked often about the fact that all three slaw machines are very, very different. But what they can talk about is how it hooked up to the track and where they are going to place that machine. And those guys just had a perfect combination with that run.
Well, and oddly enough, you actually can start doing comparisons to the tractors, even though they're all completely different, if you do it at every hook for a long time. You start seeing the little nuances of each machine, and you can still set them up. All right, Crash spoke with Steve Boyd earlier today.
Guys, as if the Boyd family didn't need any more stresses, any more additions to their stable, you guys manage about 6 Pro Stock tractors. You've got your 2 Supermod tractors and now a mini rod. What is this, Steve?
I don't know. I think we're crazy. It's an amazing sport. You know, the people's fantastic, and I love it. And I like to see the future of the sport go on, and I like to be able to be involved, and the grandkids and the kids. And
having the mini rod for the next generation of pullers is one thing, but I like how you're the one sitting in this mini rod first.
you know, it's kind of strange, like it really makes a difference. It probably doesn't, but I wanted to run it a few times myself before I let the kids or grandkids run it. I like it to be safe, and I think we'll be okay, but they're pretty wild.
Yeah, and he's just taking this opportunity to shake it down to make sure that everything is, you know, kind of hunky-dory out there with the mini rod, with all the 40-plus years of pulling experience that he has.
Yeah, multi-time Pro Stock champ and in the hunt for the championship in the Super Modified category this year. How about safe and wicked? 329 and 93. That is a massive number as he puts more than 10 feet on the rest of the field.
And just amazing the power that this engine is making. It's a little bit different than some of the other sassies that they have out here. I got a chance to talk to Shannon Leichner, who is with the Boyd team this year in R&D, and he said that they just like to do something a little bit different. They put some Brad Anderson heads on this machine, got a chance to run it on the dyno a lot to figure out what kind of power it has, and I don't think that they're going to be disappointed with it one bit in the way it performed on the track.
Boy, incredible stuff, and the full pull mark has been set at 320 here, so Steve Boyd out across that line, and if anybody else can get out over the 320 mark, we will have a pull-off. Up next will be Ross Herr on the Boot Scootin' Boogie. Obviously a Brooks and Dunn fan. Another great-looking hot rod, man. I mean, if too much on too little is just right, this is a class for you. Boy, I tell you better be on your game whenever you're driving one of these things because they react quickly with that short wheelbase, 302.08, but no question about it, Herr had to catch that one quickly.
And it looked like he moved a little bit to the right on the starting line, just trying to get a little piece of fresh dirt out of the tracks of everyone else, and you can see immediately starts squirreling him around out there. He's got those tires turned on the front. He's mashing on that right brake, trying to get it to go away from that left sideline. But sometimes with the wheel speeds that these guys have and the ground speeds that they have, there's a point of no return where the brake just really can't help them out very much anymore. And
it started to one wheel right off the bat, as you were talking about before. And once they do that, he really has no sense of direction. He doesn't know where that thing's going to want to go until it settles in and really starts digging. Here comes Bill Leichner on the Bobcat Jr., and this one's been bad to the bone whenever they show up with it. 2 wins on the season, 3 podiums coming into this event here. They missed a couple of hooks along the way, otherwise they'd be right in it. Oh, and 317.04 is the distance. That'll put him in 3rd place for now.
And this is just an amazing machine out here as well. You know, here at the Hillsboro, it's got a history in 3 hooks. It's taken 2 wins, in the history of Hillsboro out here as well. And you can never go wrong with a seasoned guy like Bill Leischner in the seat. You know, he's feeling a little bit of pressure from the boars over there because, you know, when they come across and they run the Bobcat Junior, they picked up wins in it. And so just right there in contention. But you can see on the right bank of the engine out there, shooting ducks there towards the end. So a little bit of a misfire, a little bit down on power.
Great looking machine, and it's a really a special team too. Long distance team, long distance relationship that really developed, and these guys work very, very well together. So Bill Leischner, one of the big names out here, Steve Boyd, veterans of the sport for sure, and Bruce Slaw right in the middle of them. We're back here at the E3 Spark Plugs Hillsboro Charity Pull presented by Optima Batteries, covering the hot rod tractors and some veterans in the sport up inside of the top three for now. Here comes a second generation puller. His name is Reese Shelton, and Crash Glennis spoke with him earlier.
Well, guys, a third and a fifth in the last two hooks. Are we basically figuring out this mini rod?
I wouldn't say that. We're still far behind with the mini rod. We're having fun though, and that's what matters.
Absolutely, that matters. But Hillsboro can be a completely different animal the way this track bites. How are you configuring your setup for that?
We're going to run about the same setup. We're going to load everything on the front, and we're just going to go out there and drive the mini rod just like normal and see what happens.
And I love the name of this thing. It's called Splinter.
And of course, it fits right in with the rest of the team. You've got the General Tire Cutting Edge, the Sawmill Express, and of course, the little guy out here, the Splinter.
Line digs right to the very end for sure. Puts 3:09 and 21 up on the board. Not good enough to get up into the top three, but certainly a very respectable effort here and into the top five.
It really seems like the track might be morphing here and changing just a bit to pull these guys off to the left-hand side. You can see starts out straight, goes full throttle early, and it just about takes the same turn as Boot, Scoot, and Boogie, but Reese doing a great job inside the cockpit there, using the brakes to turn it back around and keep it in the center of the track.
So we'll wait for them to disconnect him, and they'll hook him up and pull him off out of the way. And the next competitor up will be Bruce Slaw on the Expect No Mercy tractor. And again, we talked about these three being at the top of the points early in the season. Currently, this one is in fourth. And Crash, you have more.
Well, guys, as you know, with the sun beating down, the track is just not as good as what these mini rods had last night. But Bruce said he's still not making any changes to his setup. He's just going to drive better than he did with Show No Mercy, because his goal right now is to get in that pull-off with Expect No Mercy against that green streak.
And in the interest of fair reporting, the mini rods did pull last night. A handful of them did, but unfortunately not the entire class. It was eventually rained out. Final tractor in the category goes 292 and 28 for the Expect No Mercy machine, and that'll wrap things up. It'll also put Steve Boyd as our winner with the green streak. Comes out here with the first time, brand new tractor, and destroys the field by more than 10 feet. A huge moment.
So how about the debut of the green streak mini rod, and you're up on the top spot of the podium? Not too shabby. You did a good job there, Steve.
Well, it takes a little luck no matter who it is, and you know, the Lord was with me. That's all I can say. I was really thankful to be able to do that. You know, I got a great crew. These guys is fabulous. You know, Brian Knotts helps us a lot, and Shannon and Brad and the whole crew, they're just, I couldn't do it without them, and they're just amazing.
You did say, and it is on record, that this mini rod is to maybe be passed down to the next generation of pullers. Can you step out of the seat now that you do have a win and let the youngins go?
Yeah, I've done that all along. That won't be a problem. I'll be happy for them to do it. You know, that's what it's all about, is the kids and the grandkids and everybody involved. You know, I've said for many years you can go to Florida or anything you want to do, and vacations they don't go, but they'll come to a tractor pull. You know, so I need to thank Forrest Lucas for putting this all on and everything, and Lucas Oil and them engines of mine. Every one of them's got it. and it's fabulous. So I need to thank the crew, all the Salama group that put this thing on. The whole bunch is just fabulous, and all my competitors, they're just great people.
Humble man for sure, and he did a great job out here today. Here's a look at how they stacked up.
And just amazing for him in the first shot at the track. Didn't even get to run it on a practice track anywhere. He comes out here, and he is the only one to put it in the pull-off. Bruce Law still holding up with Show No Mercy out there. He's going to hold on to his points lead here this weekend with that second-place finish, and Bill Leischner in third.
Well, it's a third place for Bill Leischner, but you came back and said, we got broken spark plugs. Let me see. What's going on?
Oh, we had a plug that was cracked. We saw number 8 shooting ducks and figured that hurt us a little. Probably hurt us more than 3 feet. So just sometimes you have some luck, sometimes you have some bad luck, but we're just fortunate to get third. That's an honor to be out there in third place and represent our Dutch friends out there. I mean, Helma and Bettis and Barry Boer to let us run this awesome tractor. I mean, we're just very fortunate.
I got to say, you look pretty snappy in that hat.
Yeah, this came from a few years ago in the Lambada. They also sponsored the Lambada team. And, you know, the sun was pretty bright and all that dirt was coming down. So that's kind of a shield when it came down. It just, you know, we got good friends over there overseas, and we just got to thank I got to thank the team, Don Slaughter putting us on, all the fans for coming out, and you guys do a good job filming. We're just lucky to be here. We're all blessed.
Bill's a great guy. No shortage of color in that personality, I promise you. Here's a look at the points.
And Bruce Law adds another podium to that stack there with the team. Tyler in a close second there for the chase, but only 2 more rounds to go. Not going to be able to catch him out there. Keith Horse still holding on in third. Let's head down and talk to Bruce about his second place finish.
3 wins on the season, 2 or 3 second places, consistency, and obviously being at the top all the time is what's been very good for Show No Mercy. This might not be a first, but you're just crushing it in that points title.
Well, we'll take it. They're not running for points, so I got first place points. So it's about as good as a first place, but not quite. I wish we were out there. Boyd's debuted their Mini. I didn't expect nothing other than it being up front. Got to thank the good Lord for a good shiny day. We got rained out last night, and everybody ended up safe. So I wish we would have kept the other ones a little more toward the front, but really can't complain how we ended up.
Your son is chasing you, though, in these points. How are you going to keep him at bay?
Well, I'm always chasing him, and this year he's chasing me, so we'll just keep it as that for right now. He works hard on him all week long, just like I do, probably harder than I do. I'm ready to go in the house at 10 o'clock at night, and he said, Dad, we got to get this done. And I'm like, I'm old, I'm getting tired.
12 podiums so far on the season for those guys. They are absolutely killing it, and they'll add one to it here this weekend as well. Stay with us. We'll be right back with Unlimited Superstockers. And welcome back to E3 Spark Plugs Hillsboro Charity Pull presented by Optima Batteries. That's it for the mini rod tractors. Up next will be the Unlimited Supers. Big time horsepower here as well, but in a completely different configuration. Aaron Hull will kick things off here with the alcohol-fed machine. Great looking John Deere for sure. It's called Out of Time. Boy, and it just tugs that one right down underneath the turbos till it loses boost and pulls that tractor to a stop. 280 and 73 will be the starting distance, and there's a decent chance he'll drop this one.
You know, unless there's some kind of mechanical issue here with this, he's got to drop this hook and keep it in contention and get another pass at the track because it is a tight points chase right here.
Here's a look at the pulling order, and yes, we have confirmed that he did in fact drop that, so he'll go a little bit deeper down into the pulling order. You see him now in the number 5 slot, so he'll have a chance to make some changes to that one and come back out and try it again.
And they can come back anywhere in those top 6 spots. For him to come back 5th, a little earlier than normal, means that he thinks the track conditions are maybe going to go away a little bit this afternoon.
Yeah, and that can be a tough decision too because they also have to get that thing cooled back down to make maximum power. Here comes Ron Bargy, Dad's toy. Kicked the season off with a couple of podiums, has 3 on the season, including just 2 hooks ago at Evansville when he finished in 3rd place. He comes out here now and goes 2:49 and 63. That is not what he was hoping for here.
You know, it's just really been a struggle for that team here as we take a look at the points, and it shows you what a tight race it is here coming down the stretch with these guys. Aaron Hall and Jeff Hodem really battling it out. And 10 points is nothing. That's 5 places, and that can happen in a night. It's nice to see Lyle Hall up there in 3rd, Neil Gettinger battling for 4th, and Jeff Hurt struggling this season. He rounds out the top 5.
Yeah, this is hook number 14 of 18, and they've had no rainouts here this year. It has been a vicious battle, to say the least. Terry Blackburn, extremely armed. He's not in the hunts for the points, but don't ever count this guy out. He is bad to the bone, and he proves it right there. He finished 1st at Freeport, and he's looking to finish 1st here. 344.05 is an incredible number.
Man, and you know, that Blackburn engineering is just fantastic. What I love about these tractors and the Cheez-It tractors that we see on the circuit too is watch how it'll just stand up right off the line. It hooks up hard and just launches and stays steady for the most part all the way down the track. Talk about a program that they've put together here. Good weight placement, great engineering inside that tractor, and really hooking up that power into the track. That's the key. You can make all the power that you want, but if you can't hook it into the track, it's useless.
So we're off and running with the Unlimited Superstock category. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
The Lucas Oil Pro Pulling League is brought to you by E3 Spark Plugs, born to burn. General Tire, anywhere is possible. And by Rhino Ag, born to lead.
A nice overhead shot here at the E3 Spark Plugs Hillsboro Charity Pull presented by Optima Batteries. We're covering the Unlimited Superstockers here in Hillsboro, Wisconsin. And earlier today, Crash had a chance to speak with Aaron Hall about the changes he made from one night ago.
Guys, Aaron Hall came into Hillsboro as the points leader, but night number 1 was not what you had expected. What happened specifically, and how have you made changes coming into the 2nd round?
It was a pretty disappointing night. I believe it's something electrical. We changed a bunch of stuff. I looked over everything electrical, mechanical I could think of. We worked pretty much all night on it. Threw a bunch of new parts at it. Didn't find anything definite, some maybes. So hopefully it runs tonight and I can at least hold where I'm at.
It took him 12 hooks to finally catch and pass Jeff Hodem in the fully loaded machine to take over that points lead. And then one night ago, Hodem finishes in 2nd place. And as Aaron Hall was talking about, he was deep down in there. And I should say, Hodem earned 2nd place points, finishing in 3rd. The points is what we're talking about here. That's what matters chasing this championship. And the taking care of business tractor here goes 301.03, well short of what he needs to get up there and fight for that lead today.
Well, for him right now, he's just going to make sure it's a solid effort out there on the track. He doesn't care about getting out there past Terry Blackburn and the extremely armed and dangerous machine, because he's got to just make sure he can stay ahead of Jeff Hodem and put together a solid run. I don't know if that 301 and change is going to be what he needs. It looked like he was maybe just a little bit heavy on the nose out there, just struggling to lift the front end to get that perfect placement of weight in those rear tires.
Unhooks and charges off out of the way. And speaking of Jeff Hodem, our points leader, he is coming up next. Tough player for sure, and Crash had a chance to speak with Jeff about the adjustments he made for today.
Guys, with Jeff Hodem gaining the points lead back again last night, that's the name of the game, is to protect that points lead. He said the track today is drier. It's not as tacky as it was last night. So in order to compensate for that, he moved 75 pounds back and took some air pressure out of the tires.
8 podiums on the season coming into this event. 3 wins on the season so far, and this one isn't going to be good enough for a win, but it is good enough to get up into second place, and more importantly, as you were just talking about, ahead of Aaron Hall and the Taking Care of Business machine.
When he gave himself quite a nice cushion there of 10 feet to allow some of those other competitors to kind of step in there and help him out and extend that lead in the points here. Let's take a look as he goes right off the line. As you can see, slowly, then all the way full throttle, gets a good launch, holding it steady. Digging those rear tires in, cleat for cleat back in there, trying to make sure that he can just push as much dirt as possible and making it happen.
Tough player. As you talked about, this championship's going to go right down to the wire. All right, here comes Aaron Hall. Remember, he was our test puller right at the very beginning of the category on the out-of-time tractor. Came out here, went 280 and 73, but as the first hook in the category, you always have the option to drop. Boy, and almost the same exact result, but less distance this time, as it again just pulls that thing down.
And you know, it's amazing just how quickly these runs came together. I know Aaron Hall rushing back to the staging lanes to try to get in the out-of-time machine to make some of those. Really, the only thing that they're going to be able to do at that time is maybe take a little air out of the tires and move some weight around, change a gear really quickly. And, you know, you got to remember, when these guys are on the starting line, they're watching those gauges intently. You know, they've got to bring up the boost pressure. They've got to let the clutch out at exactly the right time when the boost pressure and RPMs are at optimal levels for their machine, because there are certain things that happen inside of it with fuel settings when they reach those RPMs and boosts. So everything has to be perfectly timed off that starting line.
A lot of stuff going on out here. It is far from easy to compete at this level of competition. The Running Bear machine coming up here, the 2014 championship winning tractor with Jeff Hurt on board. So far, hard to believe, just one podium on the season. Boy, just not happy, missing, stumbling, just does not have that big monster V8 roaring like he has in the past couple of seasons.
And, you know, the interesting thing is, you know, it's not like, you know, Jeff Hurt is driving home after the event and let these tractors sit in the shop and he's not trying to make them perform. You know, this team works so hard, especially having the V8s in the category, to try to make them run at optimum power, to try new and different things to propel themselves forward with their competitors, to have that edge over them that they're going to need to win. Unfortunately, you know, there's just some of the things that they're trying with the new turbo combination out here. It's just not working out for them, you know. But, you know, I've got to say, for the team's sake, they've really kept their chin up, they've kept their head up, and they keep going day after day. They keep coming back and trying again, hoping that they can get another podium like they had there when they took the Running Bear to Wilmington and got that win.
Well, it's not the first time we've seen him struggle with that V8 either. Whenever he first came out with it, they struggled, and eventually, once they got it figured out, they were the class of the field. There's a look at your top three. We'll be right back. This is the E3 Spark Plugs Hillsboro Charity Poll presented by Optima Batteries. Track grooming here for the Unlimited Super Stockers. About in the middle of the class here as Michelle Navigneur comes out here, and the Dominator Deer.
You know, this is her second full season driving. Of course, she's been around it all her life. This is the tractor that her dad would campaign, you know, kind of regionally with the circuit when we used to go to Macon, Missouri and pull. And he used to put one on everybody every once in a while out there with that's the Dominator Deer, really stout machine.
Boy, Michelle way over there, crosses the out-of-bounds line. You could see her working that right foot, trying to get that thing to come back, but it was just having none of it.
She hooked up so hard out there, and right away, she goes straight to the brake to try to bring it back around, but with so much power that you're pouring into the track, you're talking about 3,500 horsepower out there, just digging in strong into that sled. The box not quite topped off, but once it does, it's gonna give her a little bit of a jolt forward and not really help her cause there as she's trying to turn it around.
And you can see the frustration in her as well, shaking her head. She understands that's a huge miss right there and no points for the effort today.
Well, just a huge learning curve for her as well. You know, we talked about her being in just her second year with all these veterans.
All right, Crash Gladys spoke with Jeff Hurt about last night's pull as well.
Round 1 of Hillsboro, Jeff Hurt got a 4th and a 5th. However, that was an evening run. This is a day run. The sun is just beating the track right now. Does anything translate?
Yeah, we couldn't turn our gears last night. We're short on power this year. We're chasing some gremlins, and I don't know, we're just hoping that maybe this afternoon sun will help our program come together.
So instead of a 4th and a 5th, a 1st and a 2nd?
That'd be awesome.
Say bye-bye gremlins.
Yeah, that'd be super good. We've I don't know, just kind of lost for words with the things we've chased this year.
But that's just kind of the story of pulling, isn't it?
It is, but I mean, boy, it's just, it's hard after the seasons we've had and the success we've had to chase the things we have. I mean, it's just stupid stuff that's kind of out of our control, and we're getting through them, though.
I think that's the first time, Ken, that I've ever heard a puller ask for the afternoon sun to come out on the track.
He has struggled. I mean, keep in mind, he won the championship with Running Bear in 2014. He won the championship a year ago on this tractor called Fast Lane. And both tractors have only been on the podium one time this year. Both times he won it. So they're strong when he gets it right, and he knows that. That one carrying the front end nicely right there, and he goes 3:19 and 79, and that is good enough to jump up into second place. So that thing's a hot rod once he gets it sorted out and everything works properly, but boy, has it fought him this year.
And, you know, this team really needs that. You know, when you've got a team that has 4 championships in this category under their belts, you know, that's really quite unheard of in any category to have one driver with those 4 championships. So to see them struggle this year, he even got up on the wheelie bars a little bit right there and that awesome run out there.
Yeah, I mean, it was one wheeling and popping right there at the very end. Yeah, unfortunately, I think he did miss the setup by just a little bit, or I bet you he's right out there hunting for the lead.
So the afternoon sun that they were wishing for did him some due service here this afternoon to help him hook up.
Pretty cool for sure. All right, well, we saw Michelle nobbing her just a little bit ago. This is going to be Mike. And again, Crash Gladys was busy out there today and had a chance to speak with Mike about seeing his daughter's run.
Guys, Mike Novinger just told me that he wasn't real happy with how Michelle was hooking up out of the hole, so he decided to move 200 pounds to the back and turn his boost up in order for him to have a little bit better run right now.
The Massey Ferguson old school sheet metal, good looking tractor.
Oh, huge fire there underneath as we can see a little bit of explosion. He was on an awesome run there as he goes 273 and 52 here. Spins it in and quickly gets off here because one thing about alcohol flames out there, you can't see them out there, which makes them quite dangerous.
Well, I think more importantly, we just heard Crash tell us that he was going to turn the boost up on that thing, and there's the end result if they make too much boost. It leans them out, it blows them up.
Great shot there, the intakes of the 2 turbos feeding to that larger turbo in the bottom, but it looks like he really had the setup just maybe a little bit off on that if he could have just held on.
And it's not to say that that one did blow up because it was too lean. I'm sure he made fuel adjustments to it as well, but it's certainly something that can happen. Bottom line is, he might have just made too much pressure for the bottom end of that power plant, and it could not take all the power that thing was producing. All right, there's only one of them here in the category. It's the Minneapolis Moline. It's a solid one. Lyle Hull having a great season so far this year. He's put that thing up on the podium 3 times. And digging hard right here to the very end, 297 and 82.
And you know, it's interesting to see the variance in distances here and setups. Usually, Lyle Hall, a contender, he's usually right there in the mix as he's sitting in that top 5 in points this year. We'll take a look at it as he goes right off the line here. Look at all the weights on the nose of the tractor, just really stacking them out there to try to keep it down. Wants to make sure he gets that perfect placement, doesn't get on the wheelie bars like you saw Jeff Hurt out there, and maybe just one weight too heavy.
Yeah, came in here third in the points, as you were talking about just a moment ago. He's really having a great season for sure. Right there in the hunt, and they've got 4 more hooks to go after this one is over. There's a look at the top 3. We're getting down to it, though. Just one player left, and he's a former champ in the category.
The Lucas Oil Pro Pulling League is brought to you by Lucas Oil, made in America, sold to the world. E3 spark plugs, born to burn. And by Geico, saving people money on more than just car insurance.
And we welcome you back to the E3 Spark Plugs Hillsboro charity pull presented by Optima Batteries. Just one tractor yet to go in the Unlimited Superstock category, and it's going to be Bud Gettinger, who is currently 4th in the points, and this tractor went on a tear starting off in about the middle of the season. When they put it up on the podium, 4 out of 5 hooks has really come along nicely with a total of 6 podiums and a couple of those on top of the box. .302 and 12 is going to be the distance for the lessons learned machine.
When you could really see Bud fighting that steering wheel out there, and he went to the brakes early to try to keep it straight going down the track, so that braking action really detracting from his distance here. As they say, each time you tap those brakes, that it takes 5 to 10 feet off your distance. But he does a great job keeping it straight, and that's what you want to do with the run. Unfortunately, it does have consequences.
Yeah, that'll get him into the top 5 and might just be enough points to get him around Lyle Hull and up into the top 3. We'll take a look at that in just a couple of moments. Tough field for sure, but Terry Blackburn came out here and made it look easy today, and he's on the podium with Crash Gladys.
So last night, Josh Blackburn put 23 feet on the field. Today, Terry, you do it 25 feet ahead of everybody else. What is it with you guys in Hillsboro?
I don't know. It's a great track for one thing. They had rain here and did a super job putting it back together. I think that's the best afternoon track ever been on. And, we put the power to ground. Actually, it was a little light. It carried the front end a little higher than I like to see it, but it turned out good.
If that's something that you really don't want to see and you still go that far, hey, that's pretty scary for the rest of the field.
Yeah, everything just worked out. Sometimes, like last night, I just, picked the wrong spot in the track and it got me, and tonight it did the right thing.
Yeah, an awesome event. That's his 2nd win on the season when he's come out here with the extremely armed and dangerous machine. Jeff Hurt, a good night for that team, ends up 2nd place. Jeff Hodem in 3rd. And some other notables here, Aaron Hall in 5th. And that will help him keep those points tight here. Let's head back to the podium and Crash is with Jeff Hurt.
So let's double check what we talked about earlier. Don't do anything stupid. And to go off of 4th and 5th last night, just get a 1st and a 2nd. Well, you at least did the 2nd. Jeff, good job.
Thank you. The other tractor, well, it'll get there someday maybe. But fast lane run great. Got to thank all the sponsors. Steyr Seeds, they've been great to us, working with us. They've got a great product, good looking crops at home for no rain. It's amazing.
You're a heck of a lot happier right now, and this piece of hardware that you get to take home, the combined distance of yesterday and today, huh?
Yeah, that was awesome. I didn't even think about it when we come off the track, and I had a pretty fair run. I did a terrible job driving. I was kicking brakes and underdriving, overdriving on the start line. Somehow wound up getting a 2nd out of it. The old girl just made some power finally.
Just take some credit, please.
I guess I changed some nozzles in it. Maybe that helped it run.
Good to see him smiling again. He has had a tough season for sure. Here are the points. Hodem, as you can see there, will hang on to 1st place. Aaron Hall Now 14 back instead of 10 at the start of this hook, and now Neil Gettinger has jumped up into a tie with Lyle Hull for the top 3. Let's go back down to the podium and talk to Jeff Hodem, our points leader.
Preservation of the points lead, that was the name of the game today, and that's what you did. Another third place and keeps you up there.
It does, Crash. Thank everybody here at the Hillsboro Charity Pool. They did an awesome job of the track. We had a bunch of horrible weather over the night and got a lot of rain, got a lot of water. They did a real good job for what they had to do and deal with on the track tonight.
Did the driver do a good job of keeping himself sane overnight with all that?
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. I was like, oh yeah, the rain's gonna pass. We're good. We got up this morning, cranked the radio, we did our anti-rain dance, and Lord have mercy, look at it. It's beautiful sunny skies today. But I need to thank my sponsors, though, Napa Auto Parts, Carlisle Tools, Breck Bueller Scales, and Cleveland Bearings. All those guys. Riverside Engines does a heck of a job with our motor. Blackburn Performance Parts on our turbo setup and a Humpco rear end, and our Carlin Motorsport chassis. Everything is just a great combination. It seems to be working very well for us this year. We're blessed. We're just going to try and keep up that lead. We're not going to do a whole lot of changing. We're not going to do a whole lot of difference. We just need to keep making laps like we talked before at Freeport, or excuse me, Henry. But that's just what we need to do. Just keep making these laps, and hopefully, good Lord willing, we'll be all right.
For an update on that points chase, make sure you head on over to propulling.com or check us out on Facebook, Lucas Oil Pulling League.
We always enjoy coming up here to Hillsboro, Wisconsin, and the pulling is always great. Hope you enjoyed all the action. We'll have more before the season is over, and we hope you'll join us for that as well. For Crash Gladys and Leslie Mears, I'm Ken Stout. Thanks for watching the Lucas Oil Pro Pulling League.